it's Jess, and welcome back to my channel, Nose in a Book. If you can't tell, today we are going to be doing the spooky book tag. I was tagged to do this by Allie over at Allie Sugar. My hood is falling down. What's going on? Whoa! Thank you so much for tagging me, Allie. I can't wait to get into these questions. I must forewarn you though, I am not a huge horror scary book reader, or movie watcher. I'm just not into that usually, so all of these are going to be like a way toned down version of anything really scary. So I apologize in advance if you're looking for something really spooky. But without further ado, let's get right into the questions. So question number 1 is Corn Maze. What book had you lost and confused from the very beginning? And that book is not one I have with me. I borrowed it from the library, but it is Silo by DJ MacHale. It is the first book in a series, and it kind of reads like a dystopian sci-fi-ish novel, but it is about a little island that has been quarantined by a section of the government called Silo, and obviously from the very beginning and the get-go you know something is going on that we don't know what it is, and more stuff keeps happening, and like you're just like, what's going on? Why is this happening? And then by the end of the first book, all we really know is we don't know what's happening, even more so than the whole rest of the book. So I did actually enjoy the book in spite of that. I think I gave it only like 3 stars though because of the confusion factor. I was just like, I don't know where this is going. But it is the first book in a series of books, so you know you can't end it and reveal the mystery in the very beginning, so that makes sense to me. But I will be picking up the rest of the series eventually so I can find out what happens, but definitely would have to say I am still confused. Question number 2 is Haunted House. What book has the creepiest setting? And like I said before, I am not a big creepy reader. I don't read haunted, scary horror books, so this one has more of just a dark overtone. It's not scary necessarily, it's not even creepy, it's just this overtone of darkness that I personally felt when reading it. It just gives that whole inky atmosphere to it, but it is like a very cheesy book at the same time, and that is Fallen by Lauren Kate. This is the first book in a series, and I think I've only read the first 2 in the series. I do plan on finishing it because I have been enjoying it, and it's the only Fallen Angels book that I've ever read, so I haven't been like, you know, troped out on all of these. But so I have been enjoying it a lot, but like I said, it just has this dark feeling to it that I wasn't used to when I first started reading it. I feel like I've read some more things that have that dark atmosphere now, but this was one of those ones where I had been reading very light fluffy things, and then I read this and I was like, oh, it's so dark and like cold. So that would be the one I would have to go with, even though it's not necessarily creepy. Question number 3 is Ghost Boyfriend. Who is your eternal boyfriend? So I couldn't resist this question because it says Ghost Boyfriend, so I actually have 2 answers, and one is actually a ghost, and his name is Jesse from the Mediator series by Meg Cabot. I mentioned him in my last video, but Jesse is a Spanish amazing sexy ghost, and I want to marry him. He is awesome, and since this said Ghost Boyfriend, I was like, I have to mention Jesse. Even though he may not be my eternal boyfriend, I will think of him anytime anyone says ghost boyfriend. It just will pop right into my head. And of course, for my eternal true love, my eternal boyfriend, Ron Weasley from the Harry Potter series. I just love Ron so much. I loved Ron since the very beginning when he first meets Harry on the train. I was like, I'm in love. I love him so much. But here's my Ron with his 3rd-year ugly dress robes. And of course my 2nd-year Ron with the tape on his wand. So I love Ron so much. He is forever my eternal boyfriend. So question number 4 is Caramel Apple Suckers. What is the best Halloween book ever? And like I said, I don't read a lot of Halloween books, so the only one I can think of that would qualify under the best ever that has to do with Halloween is Harry Potter. So this is the only book that I can think of that I've read that specifically has Halloween mentioned in it and made me just want to carve a pumpkin and light it on fire and like eat candy and sweets in the Great Hall. I just adore Halloween in all of the Harry Potter books where it is mentioned, and it's just wonderful. And this is the only one, like I said, that I've read that mentions Halloween. and I would not choose another. It's perfect. It's the best Halloween book ever. And Christmas book, and every other kind of time of year. Question number 5 is vampires in everything. What is your least favorite Halloween trope? And this one, like I said, I don't read or watch a lot of scary things, so I don't know a lot of tropes, but the one I know of that always bugged me whenever I would hear people talk about scary movies, or I would accidentally see a portion of a scary movie, is when there is a character, most often a female, who just decides for whatever reason that it's a totally good idea to go off by themselves and look for, like, and to just end up with the killer. It's like, oh look, there's a guy in a ski mask outside our window, I wonder what he wants, let's go check it out. Or there's bloody footprints leading up to the door, let's just keep walking forward and find out what's going on. Like, why? Why is that always a thing in scary movies? There's always that character who just is stupid. Just like run away. At least try to escape. Don't like make it easy for the killer. The second part of question number 5 is pumpkin in everything, and that is, what is your favorite Halloween trope? And this one, like I said, the closest I can come to something that is not really scary because I've read it is when a monster falls for a human. I know that that sounds an awful lot like Twilight, and it is, or like Warm Bodies. I just can't help it. I love it when it's like the Beauty and the Beast. The monster falls for a human, and they shouldn't, and they should like eat them or whatever they should do to the human, but they don't. Instead, they just fall in love with them, and I just love that storyline. I just can't help myself. Number 6 is Evil Incarnate. Who is the most evil villain? And I have to go with Dolores Umbridge. She's scary, people. I do not want to be on her good side or her bad side. I just want to be out of there. Hello, Dolores Umbridge. I didn't need to say any more than that because you all know that she is scarier than Baldy any day. Number 7 is Ouija Board, a book that messes with stuff that you don't want to get involved in. And I had a really hard time with this one because, like I said, I don't read a lot of scary, so it had to be something different, and I went with Macbeth by Shakespeare because there was so much in that I did not want to get involved in. I mean, there was the witch's prophecy, and then he was killing people, and his wife was killing people, and his wife committed suicide. I mean, it's just bad. There's just so much that was like, no, thank you. I'm just gonna walk away. And then also just the name of the play, because I'm a theater person, it's just like, don't say it. No, it's bad. So that play. That's the only one I can think of. That would be, I do not want to get involved. Number 8 is Full Moon. What character do you turn into on the full moon? And I really loved Allie's answer for this. She chose the main character from Mistborn. Can't remember the character's name right now because I haven't read Mistborn, and I'm dying to read it because it just sounds amazing. But it just was a really cool character, and I was inspired by that because I wasn't really sure what it meant, if it was supposed to be a good thing or a bad thing on the full moon. But I'm going with it's a good thing. So I chose Safi from Truthwitch. I love Safi. She was amazing and so fiery, and also Safi is just such an amazing warrior. Like, yes, she is a witch, she's a truth witch that basically only allows her to tell truth from lies, so she doesn't really have any witch powers that we know of yet. So all of her awesomeness is all like physical ability to fight people, and it is awesome. I love it. It's amazing. So I would be Safi from Truthwitch. So question number 9 is All Hallows Eve. Our world and this world have meshed for one night. What world would you like to be swept up in? And obviously everyone wants to say Harry Potter, but I already used that for another question. And so I was searching my brain to see what I would want, and this is probably inspired by a recent reread of this, but Jane Austen's Regency England, specifically where her characters are, not necessarily the actual past. I'm fine with the past too, but like the actual like characters in her books. So Jane Austen's Regency England. I would love to be swept up in this goodness. And find me a man, not a Mr. Collins or John Thorpe. No, thank you. But like a good one, like Mr. Tilney. So I think this was just inspired by me rereading Northanger Abbey, and I just love Jane Austen so much, and I was like, if I had to collide a world right now that it couldn't be Harry Potter, it would be this one. Number 10 is Voodoo Doll. what author would you like to take control of and make them write whatever you want? So I had a couple of original answers for this that I would have said any day, and recently they have started writing all the things that I want them to write. So one of those being Meg Cabot. She has been writing continuations for a lot of the books that I was like, I would like to see more of this, please. And she was like, okay, like not to me, obviously, because I didn't actually have this conversation with her, but I was like, whoa, we're getting some Mediator, we're getting some Princess Diaries. I was just super excited to see all of those. So I was like, you do you, Meg Cabot. I don't need to be your voodoo master. So yeah, the only one I could think of is J.K. Rowling. Now, this is hard because I hate the idea that you would take control of the author, because in my head that means that the ideas would be mine and then I would just write them and it would be fan fiction and it wouldn't be real. But I would love to make her write with her own knowledge and backstory and things that she knows and things that she wants to happen. Make her write a prequel to Harry Potter that is all just like James Potter and like his group of friends and like Snape and Lily and like a whole bunch of stuff like that. I just think it would be so awesome, especially just to see the mischief that the group just gets into, and maybe even see the rise of Voldemort for the first time. I just feel like it would be a really fun adventure, some story, and then even like having her write like a history, like Hogwarts a history, like write that for me, please. I know she has a lot of stuff on Pottermore and I love reading it, but it'd be just so nice to have like a really pretty volume of like Hogwarts a history or all of Gilderoy Lockhart's books or something like that. There's so many possibilities with J.K. Rowling, so she's the one I would pick. Number 11 is Black Cat. What red flags do you look for when you pick up a book? And unfortunately, I'm very non-selective when it comes to books. I'm not very picky. I read a lot of stuff that I feel like a lot of other people would find mediocre and they don't really want to read. I like stuff like that. I will say though, for me, that when I'm picking up a book and if I'm not in the mood for something, it will pick at my brain. So like if it's a dark atmosphere in the book similar to Fallen and I'm not in the mood for that, it will drive me crazy and I just won't enjoy the book anymore. One example of that is this year with read The Perks of Being a Wallflower for the first time, and it just had a lot of emotional triggers for me and I just felt really depressed the entire time I was reading it, and it was not a good time for me to be reading it. And so even though I felt like the book made me think a lot and I really loved the book, I just couldn't enjoy it as much as I might have had I read it at a different time. So if I would have listened to some of those red flags and not continued reading it and maybe saved it for another day, then I might have enjoyed it even more. But I definitely think it's something that everyone should read. I feel like it's just such a profound work. I will say like writing style and stuff does sometimes get to me, but it has to be really, really bad or really, really awkward to get to me. I'm just usually not that picky. Of course, there are books that I like more than others. There are books that I'm like, this is amazing writing and this is so beautiful and descriptive, but just most of the time, yeah. Question number 12 is Witch's Brew, a book that had a lot of components thrown in, but the result was magical. And for this one, I had to go with The Raven Cycle by Maggie Stiefvater. This series has so much in it, not only like magically, we've got the psychic tarot cards and then we've got Caveswater. So it's just a whole bunch of different things in that regard, but also with all of our different perspectives. We really get to see like so many perspectives. Blues, all 4 of the boys, I think, except for Noah. I don't think we really get to see Noah's perspective. And then we also get to see perspectives from some minor characters. So I would say with all of that thrown together, it would seem like this book should be really terrible or confusing. And in some parts, I guess it would be a little bit confusing, but it's just so magical and the end result is just beautiful. And I just love it. So, there is a lot going on in this series though, but yeah, definitely a magical result. Question number 13 is tagging people, and I unfortunately feel like I'm filming this too late in the season to tag people because I feel like this should be done before Halloween, and by the time I post this, it'll probably be Halloween. In fact, if it probably is, and happy Halloween. So the last question is to tag people, and I just feel like since it is already Halloween today, that you guys will probably not want to do this tag. So I will not be tagging anyone, but if you are watching this and you haven't done this tag and you want to still, even past Halloween, please do it. It was a lot of fun, even though I'm not a huge horror spooky reader. So please do this tag if you would like to. Thank you everyone so much for watching this. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and if you are not subscribed to my channel already, you can subscribe to be notified when I post new videos, and that is usually every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. So I will see you next time with another video really, really soon. Happy Halloween!